Okay, guys, we're back with another video. Silo finale, the final finale for now. But season 3 and 4 have been confirmed already with the viewership. Seasons 3 and 4 are already confirmed. Season 3 is about to start production if they haven't already, I think, which is amazing news. But sadly, this is the end for now. But it's not the end of this video. I don't know how long this video could be. I really hope I can contain it in editing. I'm gonna try and be fast. I literally watched the episode and then ran around my house for 20 minutes. I'm not kidding. I needed my energy to go somewhere. Okay? That's just what happened, okay? And because I couldn't record the video right after it ended because my recording room was being occupied, and I was like, okay, I can't use my energy and spit it at my poor viewers. I gotta run. So I ran for 20 minutes. So here we are now. The room's available, and we're gonna start. And we start on Juliet's watch. Juliet's watch that has lasted the tested the test of time. You see what I did there? That's pretty funny. But the watch is on Dr. Nichols, who is learning that she is alive according to Shirley, who knows this according to Lucas, who knows this according to Bernard. But we know this because we don't have to do this according to anyone, because we just showed the viewer. But I love starting the episode with this scene. It was emotional, and it set the stage for the rest of the episode, and I loved it. But Nog says, get ready for war. When you need to get prepared for war, bro. And then we go back to Title 17, where Solo finds his lunchbox in his apartment or his living quarters. And his lunchbox, and talks about the last time that he saw his mom. That it was the last time he saw his mom, that morning, the morning before the rebellion. And he's starting to remember Jimmy's life, which I think is a good detail here, because before the lunchbox, he said he didn't recognize it last episode. But once he's gotten past that trauma, once he accepts that he's Jimmy, he now remembers like those memories associated with Jimmy. And then we get a scene where he sees his parents. They're not actually there, but we see them how he's seeing them right now. He mentions he's older than them. And then Eater asks for a suit, and Juliet basically kind of signals Solo, don't tell her there's two suits. Doesn't want her to know. Then Solo wants to spend some time here in this living quarters that he remembers so fondly. Sorry, I thought my recording died. I was like, I better check that before I'm an hour in. But then he sees a note that says safeguard procedure, and then goes back to Eater and Juliet and says, hey, please, I need to save your silo. Like, please listen to my information. Then we go back to Silo 18 with Lucas coming up the ladder, and his energy is spent. He climbed the rope all the way up, and now he's climbing the ladder, like you can tell. But are you kidding me? We don't see what he saw. Like, still, are you kidding me? Like, are we serious? Are we serious? We kind of know what he learned, but at the same time, are we serious? Like, we're like, oh, there's this door, what's inside? Oh, we kind of know what's inside, but we're not gonna see what's inside. Like, are you they better show it eventually. If they don't, I might have a meltdown. Okay, but Lucas gets up the ladder, he's gonna leave, and then there's that guy from the Down Deep who interrogated him before and is like, hey, Shirley told me to lock you up. And then Lucas gives him a kick in the balls and then gets away. So there's that. And then they go to Walker's workshop. Knox, Shirley, and them go in the workshop, assess their plan on a map and everything, where the cam is. And they talk about their plans to hold off raiders at the barricade, to delay time to explode the generator 3 hours later. And here I was like, maybe he knows the cam is there and wants to make them like make this fake plan, or make them like scared of the generator when nothing's gonna happen to it. And then Bernard gets this information. He says, gotcha, sends his raiders. The music like hypes up, and I was like, this is a finale, baby. We are in finale territory. But then we go to then we go to Amber Templemore. I'm sorry, she deserves me to pronounce her name correctly, but I'm just not good at pronouncing stuff. But that's Amber Templemore directing again, and like I love her. I don't know her, but I love her directing. I just do. And damn, that was like damn loud after the intro. Like, if anyone else noticed, as soon as the intro ended, there was like a black screen and some sounds. Like, that hurt. It hurt my ears. But anyways, they're like, that we go to these two guys who are like at this door at the barricade, and they're like, huh, what's going on? They're mechanical guys. And then the Judicial got this like thing that they're making, this swing like thing. They throw it over, and then boom, swing back into the back of one of the guys and break down the barricade. I was like, what the frick was that? Like, that caught me so off guard to have that just swing behind him and murder him. But then basically Judicial raids it. Lucas gets like smacked in the face and gets caught. And then we go back to Silo 17 with Eater, who wants to be called Hope, she says. So I'll stop calling you Eater, Hope. She wants to be called Hope. And we know her one name now, because last episode she said her mother only gave her one name. And she's never knew that people had last names, and her name's Hope. And I guess that's a fitting name for only having one name, Hope. Yeah, so we know her name, which is great. And I think she's going to be a bigger character next season, maybe like the Juliet of Silo 17. Maybe if more silos come together. That's just more end talk. Let's get through this right now. Solo tells Eater or Hope, hey, like, you gotta leave, kids can't hear this, we gotta talk. Waits like 2 seconds, then begins to talk to Juliet. Like, did not wait long enough. But he says that morning that it happened, that he heard his parents talking about the safeguard procedure, and that they saved the rebels from dying. They saved the rebels from dying. Somehow there's a way to save it. And then we see a receipt for a Gwen Conroy, or I think it was Gwenny. Here, the picture's here. I don't have the picture in front of me, but it will be in post. You can correct me, future me, or you. I think it's Gwen or Gwenny Conroy suit room receipt. For a second they show this, maybe this showing that Hope would fit in the suit if she had it. I don't exactly know why they showed that. Y'all let me know if we just wanted to learn her name. Is that why? There's a few things with Solo's mom that he mentions in this episode that like what's the point of mentioning all this stuff about his mom? Then we go to a Judicial rating and down deep, and then we get like the let's do this whole fight battle thing with weapons that are definitely really light props that they had to make look heavy, which is great. They did a good job. But then we go to a break-in in Paul's apartment. Paul's shadow hitting him and arresting him. I was like, damn, he literally helped you out, and you watched Julia get unjustly sent outside. You better, well, like, what? That's just rude. You better die. But she redeems herself later. Well, she does, and they laid the seeds for that last season and this season, which I really appreciate. But then Patrick Kennedy gets arrested too, and so does Shirley and Knox. And I wish we saw the rest get taken down, like Shirley and Knox and them. I wish we saw like the final battle encounter and see them get taken down. But I was wondering as well, is part of their plan to get caught, or did they actually not know about the cam? Which is so good that they actually had me questioning if I was right that they knew about the cam or not. I thought they know about the cam. They have to. And then I was like, wait, maybe they don't. But I the whole time I clung on to the fact that they had a plan, but I questioned myself, which is important for a story and which is really good that they did that well. I just want to state that. But then after they all get arrested, Bernard holds this key and specifically holds it once they won, which makes me wonder about that 51st silo. For some reason, it makes me think that it blinks when it's in danger. And we theorized this before, that it blinks when someone tells them something's wrong. And we got this confirmation earlier in the episode that they cause his key to blink if something is wrong. And I guess I'll explain more who they is later, I think they is later at the end of this video. But I think they do this a few times, but this is a memento of his loyalty, of his beliefs, of what he thinks he's doing, and his trust. and he's holding on to that, thinking like, hey, I got this, I kept my cello under control, I did my job, while he holds it, and he's happy, which Bernard, you don't deserve to be happy, buddy. But then we go to Sims and Camille, who reveal that they sent Billings messages, that they got it off, but we still don't know what the message is. And then Camille tells Sims, go get in the vault, go get in that vault right now. And I was like, okay, that's what I thought he'd be doing this whole finale. Let's go do that, Sims. They wait for a while, but then we go back to Title 17, where Jimmy says the real Solo took him in the vault and remembers hearing the rebellion fight. Then that Russell, his father, told the sheriff it was safe to go out. Jimmy remembers. He remembers this. And then he says he remembers that the safeguard is a pipe. Then after this, we go to like the sequence where they are locking up the mechanical. One of them says, shut the F up, and then throws something, and it breaks the monitor in the back. Like the big screen. I was like, okay. And then Shirley comes over to Lucas and says, you kicked Randy in the nuts. And Lucas, she asks, what'd you see down there? And Lucas says, can't speak about what I found. Like, there's nothing. And he can't speak about what he found down there. And I love the directing of this sequence of going through the people. It was a big crowd in an area, and it was almost like a one shot, going in between the different people in clean, well done transition. Then there's the sheriff department lady. I don't remember her name. I'm sorry. But she worked with Juliet, and she's been in the sheriff department this season. But this is one of those seeds I was talking about that they've been planting all season, her doubt. But she says she saw the flash of blue and green, which happened in last finale. And then, they use this jail, and they lock up Knox and Shirley and whatever, all in the sheriff department separately. And they learn that Walk is the traitor. Carla and Walk are free to go, but Carla says, I'm not going with her. Hope Bernard sends you out to clean. And I was like, God damn, that is cold. That is cold. And then we get a shot of Paul just contemplating life. I was like, poor Paul, contemplating life in his cell, wondering what went wrong. And then we go to Dr. Nichols, who arrives. He's like, hey, I need to help that guy. And then like something goes off where they need to go after it, and then they're like, fine, you can come, Dr. Nichols, carry this guy. And then something drops, and I was like, what just fell as they're running away? And then we go back to Silo 17, where Jimmy explains that they had to put a cap on the pipe with the poison in it that would kill all 10,000 people. This pipe would have poison that would literally kill all 10,000 people. And I thought it was something similar like that, like it burns it nukes it kills everyone with sound some way. I was like, it's gonna kill all 10,000 people, but it's poison in a pipe that comes from the outside, and it comes from they, which I'll get into more at the end when I explain what I think they is. The pipe came from outside, and it goes to level 14 is where the pipe is. That is also where his mom worked, he says. It's another one-off line, which is interesting. Again, it's like, why the mom stuff? We don't really know what's the point of it is. We might learn more about the mom, but maybe his mom was like trying to stop the pipe or something. Maybe she worked for them. I don't know. But then we go back to cell 18 with the generator with explosives on it. That's it. That's it. They show us the explosives. Then we go back to Title 17 with Audrey and company, Rick, Benny, Child, reading and learning. And then Hope comes back, and then Audrey's smile goes away. And I was like, we're still doing this, Audrey? Really? And then we go to Bernard, who talks with Walker. And here I was like, I was still clinging on the hope that Walker did not betray them, that Knox somehow found out and they made a plan. I was clinging, but I was starting to lose it, but I was still clinging. And I was like, maybe Walker told them. Maybe it's part of the plan. Maybe it's an act with Carla being like that rude. Maybe it seemed like an act, maybe. Then we go to Dr. Nichols, who is taking the patient up the stairs, makes the patient stop. And I noticed here, you can notice that both people are paying attention to the clock, both people being Walker and Dr. Nichols paying attention to what time it is. And this is the moment I knew that actually there was a plan. The moment they both looked at the time, I was like, okay, they got a plan. They got a plan. They screwed him. We got this. Mechanical's got this. And then Judicial Shadow, Paul's shadow, comes in clutch. She's working with Dr. Nichols. I was pretty hyped here. I was like, yay, yes, thank you. And Hank was the body that needed help, and Hank was patient. And I love that they tried to fake you out twice with what was actually going on, which is amazing. And they have a bomb set up, but they realized the timer is gone. And I was like, shoot, that is what fell while they were walking away, the timer on the bomb. And the bombs on the generator are a distraction. The bombs all the way in the back have the wires cut, which means the bombs aren't going to go off, which is what Judicial finds out. But one of the officers says, no sparks, we're not setting these off. And then which is an amazing contrast here, is that the Judicial officers are talking to each other at the generator while they're yelling at each other because they have to yell over the generator. But right after this, we go to Walker telling Bernard that in Judicial that they had to deal with the generator and couldn't yell all the time. So they had developed hand signals for the generator, and that they actually on the cam were having a whole different conversation than he thought, because she was doing hand signals to him. So I mean, it's pretty crazy reveal there. And now watching it back, we can notice it more, which is great. And I was like, yeah, Bernard, you can't F with Mechanical. They even got freaking another language, kid. I don't know, he's not a kid. That's just how I talk to people in Marvel Rivals. We're not going to talk about that, though. But the sheriff department lets everyone go and says, we got Paul's message. They free Paul, and like everyone gets free. And then Juliet's watch, Mr. Nichols, Dr. Nichols takes Juliet's watch, and it's like, okay, they're going to use her watch as a timer now somehow. And then he says, tell her I love her. I was like, wait. Are we not doing the watch thing? Tell her I love her, give this to her, and tell her to never stop fighting and being herself, because her whole life she's been perfect just the way she is. And damn. I mean, I kind of had to stop myself from crying here. Like, genuinely. Like, just him and Juliet's story's been so tragic. And just, I mean, damn. But anyways, we go to Walker counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nothing happens because the bomb's not on cue. And Bernard's like, what was that? And the way he says it, it's hilarious. I can't play it because of copyright stuff. I think it might work. I could try here, even just for like a second. It has been copyright striking me for some reason. I know it's dumb, but I'll try and do it. But it's hilarious how he says it. Then there's that trailer shot. If you watch my trailer sleuthing, I was like, Dr. Nichols was holding something over a box. I said, and I was like, what is that? What is that in the trailer? And it's not. He's holding the parts of the bomb right under the bomb, and boom, he blows up, dies, explodes 2 of the floors. Hank is the guy in the trailer that we saw reacting to the explosion. That was also in the trailer. And then we go to Silo 17, who felt the explosion from where they are. So the silos they're damn close. And then Solo recognizes that's what happened to him. He heard the explosions, then the bad stuff happened. That's what he recognizes. And then we go to Walker, who shows that Bernard lost the entire sheriff department by showing all the badges turned in. Walker takes a satisfied look, getting her revenge. Lucas speeds out of the jail. We get revealed at 92 and 90, level 92 and 90, the stairs are gone, all raiders are trapped, and Lucas is on a mission. And then I was like, Lucas ain't a part of this, bro. Lucas is just running, he's trying to get out of here. Everyone's trying to kill everyone and get the truth, bro. He was just trying to get out of here. And then there was this one extra, who was extra passionate. This extra, I don't know, she's I thought it was funny. I'm sorry, extras. I'm not trying to dog on anyone. But then we go to Lucas telling Bernard to look like they're having a serious conversation. It was that or look like they aren't having a serious conversation. I think it looked like they are having a serious conversation. And he says, it can't hear me tell you this, which is the algorithm. The algorithm can't hear this or we're dead, he says. And I was like, bro, you lasted like 10 seconds after hearing this knowledge without telling someone else. Like, how do you know it won't hear you no matter how quiet you are? He is taking this risk. But Odmundson is on the stairs kind of stalking them. And we don't freaking hear what Lucas tells him. And Lucas says that's why Meadows quit as your shadow. And that is why I quit as your shadow. And then Sims is watching. And Bernard is shook. He is shook. He holds his key. Again, that moment of what has this all been for? My service. And his loyalty. And he walks in this wonderfully directed sequence. And Tim Robbins' great acting. Where I genuinely went, it shook him. It shook Bernard. And I was like, that is the look of someone whose work has been in vain. That's the exact look I thought. I was like, Bernard must have learned something that meant his work has been in vain. And again, Lucas lasted 1 second with his info. And then he walks next to Sims and says, hey, Rob. You got the role of my shadow, Rob. The code is 552039. Thanks, Rob. And I was like, bro, gave up on his job already that fast? And obviously, as a viewer, you're dying to know what Lucas told him. But then we go to Silo 17, who speeds up their process because they're like, shoot stuff's happening, shoot stuff's happening. And they try and use the IT suit, but they're also like, shoot, the suit is ruined. It's ripped up, can't use it. And then Audrey's like, Eater probably ruined it. And then Juliet is like, shut the frick up. She's not the reason your parents are dead. Be angry at the MFs who put us here and shut up and just work with each other. And like this long yelling speech. I was like, yeah, Juliet, talk some sense into this bow and arrow girl. Yeah, I was gonna call her something worse. But Juliet, again, another scene that shows the leader Juliet is, the main character that she is, what she can do for all these people, what she has done for all these people. And here I was also like, what if she can come back? You know, she can come back for y'all with more suits maybe. And then they ask, where's Jimmy? Jimmy's gone. The suit is gone as well, the good suit. And I was like, this isn't Jimmy trying to steal the suit. They're debating us. He just probably doesn't want her to go out. You know, he probably doesn't want her to leave. It doesn't turn out to be that, but we'll see. I'll talk about it. But then we go to Bernard, who finds his private suit, head of IT suit. And I was like, is he going out? Or are we doing this right now? And Lucas goes to his mom. And then his mom's like, what was the explosion? What's all that? And he's like, it's just nonsense. And I was like, that's a good comparison of show don't tell, to show that whatever he's learned, or this rebellion, is nonsense compared to whatever he's learned. And the acting was great. You could just see it on his face. You could see it in his mannerisms. You just knew that he knew something that made him not care that what was happening, that whatever was happening around him was pointless. And it's a little bit of disappointment because he had so much light in him to like, what is this code? What is this code? What is this code? And now that he knows what the code led him to, he's a little sad. But Mechanical says IT is ours. They have IT control, which is great. Carla wasn't in on the Walker information, but she says she knew deep down that Walker didn't go all the way through with it, I guess. And then the rebellion kind of takes it a step too far. They continue up the stairs and want to go outside. And I was like, no, now this is overstepping the rebellion. This is like what happened in Solo Silo, Jimmy's Silo, Silo 17. And then we go to Jimmy, who was in the suit underwater, testing it for her. And I mean, this is another great moment of Juliet thinking, oh shoot, Juliet, but Jimmy betrayed me. Oh my gosh. And then her coming to the realization that he actually was doing something really kind for her, risking his life testing it for her. And which is just really great. He should have told someone though. I mean, we should learn communication, Jimmy. I know it's been a bit since you've been around people. Let's learn some communication skills in that legacy, maybe with these other people, you know. But she was going to hug him, but he kind of doesn't let her. They say thank you, and we go to Bernard, who got that mopey retirement face, and he was saying Walker's dramatic, but I was like, bro, you're awful dramatic now. And then we go to Lucas talking to his mom. He says his earliest memory it sounded like memory was when he was under 2 years old, lying in bed with his mom. And I was like, what? And his mom's like, why'd you think of that? And he's like, oh, nothing. And then they go over it. It sounds like something a man would contemplate when he thinks about death. So something like that, maybe. And then Sims comes in, breaks in, and says, what the frick did you say to Bernard? And he has a gun. Everyone just wants a gun, I guess. And I was just like, Sims, I thought your mission in this finale was going to be opening the vault, bro. What are we doing? And then the funniest scene, maybe in the entire season, definitely in the episode, maybe the whole show, was Bernard going into like the sheriff department area, pulls out a gun and starts shooting the ceiling and says, get the F out to everyone. I'm genuinely laughing thinking about it. It's hilarious. He just pulls out a gun and starts shooting the ceiling and saying, get the F out. It was amazing. But then he keeps one person in here to help manage the situation. And then Juliet gets a wool cleaning from Hope. And I was like, it's either to clean this one that says lies on it, or is that from the inside? That might be it might be to clean this one to get them a better view, or to clean hers. And we end up seeing what it's for. And Juliet tells Hope, like, hey, you're strong, you're smart. Your parents' death was not your fault. And Juliet sees hope in herself in Hope. She sees herself in Hope. And then she says, I can't guarantee that I'm coming back, but I'll try to. And then Lucas and Sims have their situation, and Lucas is not afraid. Lucas says that the key is not lighting up, Bernard's key, because it's over. That's what he says. I'm like, what? What do you mean his key's not lighting up? Because it's over. What's it? Is the outside, like, drought over? And then Lucas says, go to the vault while there is still time. Still time. It's crazy. Is he worried about the safeguard? Kind of a thing, I'm guessing. And he says, that's a line that I want y'all to help me with. He says, it's not lighting up because it's over. What does he mean by this? It's not lighting up because it's over. The fact that he says that there's no point in saving them. There's no point in saving these people. That there was no point in him trying to save these people. That it was never in their hands. And also here, the helmet just, it was a little distracting. It didn't seem like it was on him right. But he says they can kill us anytime they want. And Juliet says maybe not, because she knows about the cap. And they're talking about they can kill us anytime they want. They have had all of the control. And this is my theory, is that they is Silo 1. Because Bernard mentioned that there are technically 51 silos, even though there are Lucas on that there were 50. Bernard says there's technically 51. Somehow they are causing this blinking on his key whenever he needs to do something. Somehow Bernard has communicated with they before. He's talked about communicating with them before. So that's my theory. It's this last silo is somehow oversees the other silo, somehow communicates to them, somehow has the control, can poison them, activate their safeguards, somehow controls the AI algorithm. Maybe that 51st silo is just all AI. I don't know. But it's definitely that. It's not definitely, that's just, I'm very confident that that's what the 51st silo is. That it's this other silo that kind of oversees the others. And yeah, then we go to Juliet, who says she figured out something and stops him from going outside and killing himself, which I thought this was a great show of character and very interesting dynamic. That Juliet, who hates Bernard, who, has gone through stuff with him, is actually willing to spare his life, wants to stop him from going out there and like essentially dying. She's kind of talking him down, which just shows her character. And but stops him, goes back inside, but they get stuck in decontamination with the fire. The fire goes off and boom, it cuts. Like what? And I've been reading the book, the first book. I'll never tell you guys something that's a spoiler so far. I mean, I haven't even gotten past season 1, okay? So I don't know anything so far. But I do know there's a description in one of the scenes earlier in the book where, it's not spoiler, don't worry, where Juliet in her mind describes what a horrible death it would be to somehow get stuck in the decontamination and burn alive. And she contemplates doing that in the book. But like, I read that chapter like yesterday or something, or 2 days ago, and they get stuck and the fire goes off. And like, you have to wonder what happens. We do know that Juliet's suit, except her helmet, is a firefighter suit, so it might be resistant, but Bernard might be cooked. He might literally be actually cooked. And then I was like, damn, that's the end. They're gonna end the cliffhanger. And I was about to like start hitting my head on my desk and be like, oh, that's a cliffhanger and a half. And then wait, what? Wait, and then the camera goes up on like a rainy day in a freaking normal city, and I think they showed it was Washington D.C. Yeah, I mean that's pretty sure, 99% sure. With a bar or some sort of restaurant. I was wait, what? I kid you not. I was sitting in my chair. I pushed down on my armrest and sent my body into the air. I am not joking. That is what happened. Out of shock, I thought the episode was over, and I went to primal instincts, which is send yourself in the air, I guess. But the man we're following goes in this bar. He gets scanned before, and he says, does it ever say red? And he says, oh, not usually, or whatever. And then he goes in this bar, meets this woman, and I was like, did I switch shows? Did like the episode end and Apple TV led me to some other show or something? And he meets with this woman, and she asks, okay, I'm gonna ask the basic date thing. Where were you when it happened? I was like, where were you when it happened? That is like, we are in Silo. We got to be in Silo, but this is like the future. What? And I thought, is that Hugh Howey? Is that the author of the books? It's not Hugh Howey, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But we learned that he's a freshman congressman from the 15th district of Georgia. We know that the silos are in Georgia, so he has lived there where the silos are. And he explains he's in the Army Corps of Engineers, and the woman says it's Army, but you can't really call it Army or something. And then he says, you should have seen what we did in New Orleans, which again, like, I'm gonna just explain what happened, and I'm gonna explain everything that I think, and then I'll explain it, but I'm gonna explain what happened first, then I'll explain my insight, okay? But she asked, do you know anyone that was ever affected? They mentioned the dirty bomb that was sent, and she explains she's from the University of Oregon, and she mentioned the shadow creeps for his campaigns, and that the U.S. maybe has plans to strike back against Iran. And he's like, for what, a radiological weapon attack on the U.S.? And I was like, what? And then he wants to go off this date, and gave a bag to her and says, hey, this is kind of a parting gift. I saw this in a shop, and it reminds me how I was brought up as a kid. And then music starts to play, the Silo intro, and boom, it's the Pez dispenser. The music hits, and the episode freaking ends. And I literally typed, what the F is that ending? Cause what the F is that ending? You know, what is that ending? Okay, now we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about all the freaking possibilities of what this ending means. I guess here, maybe I should talk about the episode as a whole. No, I'll do this. So first things first, the contemplation, I don't think this is what happened. I don't think this is what the ending means. This is just a theory. I'm throwing out all the theories. I'll tell you which one I think it is. But one theory I made is that, is this the Pez that, like, let's say we're seeing some flashback, but before the silos were made. And this Pez somehow ends up with this lady, and this somehow ends up in the Pez that we see. This is like a prequel. And and we're looking at years before. So there's like that contemplation that it's like a flashback, not quite to like our current day, but because they're talking about a dirty bomb and whatnot, maybe it was like right before the silos, right before that happened, right before the silos became a thing. And then that's a theory. But I think given the ending, I feel like I'm leaning more towards this is current time. This is happening right now in Washington, D.C. And I think he said it, reminds him of his upbringing. That this Pez reminds him of his upbringing. And I'm wondering, does that mean that he lived in a silo and somehow got out? Like, does everyone, when they think they die, when they go out to clean, is it actually like they go out into the real world? Is that what happened? Because, I mean, it looked like Holston and Allison died or whatnot. I think that was Holston's body, like, for real. It looks like it's actually dangerous out there, you know? But it reminds him of his upbringing. And you know what else it could be? He's lived in Georgia. He's a Georgia district, whatever. I'm sorry. Congressman, 15th District of Georgia. There we go. Maybe the Pez is his. Assuming this is current time, the Pez that's in the silo that we have seen through season 1. Maybe that Pez was like this guy's as a kid when he lived in Georgia. Like, I think it's got to be something like that. Like, it reminds him of his upbringing, which means he lived in Georgia. Maybe he left the Pez dispensers there. Maybe he remembers having that Pez dispenser as a kid. And now it has ended up in the hands of like Juliet and George and whatnot. I think I'd like that to be what happened. That's very interesting. There's a lot of questions here. They talk about the fact that his work's a little shadowy, which makes me wonder if he's part of like the 51st silo, you know, part of the organization creating this silo facade, assuming this is current time, this silo facade of some sort of experiment with all of these people with the freaking drill. And then there's the question of what he means when he says you should have seen what we did in New Orleans. What does he mean, New Orleans? Like, are there silos in New Orleans as well? Did something happen there as well? Like, did the bomb reach more than just Georgia, this dirty bomb? And then there's the comment the woman makes where she says, oh, it's so 95 years ago to call something a date. It's like, really? That's 95 years old? Like, it's so specific to call it a date, which gives us sort of a timeline here, right? If, like, I mean, it's got to be that's obviously the future. We know the silo is very old, and this is older than 95, and she's saying this is was 95 years old to call something a date. So assuming, like, if we go back to the theory that this is taking place before all the stuff that happened with like silos and whatnot, like, is this just giving us a reference, like 95 years, like in our future, like 2024, in the future before the silos, or is it generally just current time and that's just something that's an old thing to say? So assuming this is current time, they're talking about an isolated incident in Georgia, a dirty bomb in Georgia that, like, they took advantage of. Like, they're like, we're gonna run an experiment on human beings, we're gonna put them underground and see what happens. Because it just doesn't make sense if this only happened in like the Georgia area. But I guess they were in DC, right? I thought we saw the White House or the Capitol or whatever. But they scanned him for radiation before he went in, and DC's not like next to Georgia. So I'm wondering, like, did it spread? Is it spreading across the US? I mean, there's so much we could go on. And then, now let's talk about what Lucas might have seen in that door. I'm guessing he saw something like along the lines, assuming that this ending is current time, like saw something along the lines of like, actually, the rest of the world's fine. The rest of the world's fine. This is just an experiment that's being done in Georgia. The rest of the world is completely okay. They're living their lives, and maybe something along those lines. Maybe that's why he and Meadows quit, because they learned, what's the point? What's the point? They can kill us at any moment. We're just being monitored. We're just being controlled. It's actually safe for all those people out there. Maybe it's something like that, and that would be something crazy enough to like hide and to like kill everyone for, poison everyone so the information doesn't get out, you know? Like, and I think it's funny that Salvador Quinn made an entire code to like try and get people to know this information, because he was scared he couldn't tell anyone. But Lucas just told someone instantly. Okay, guys, it's Future Feedy here, Future Noah, calling in as I'm editing at midnight, because you know I got a lot to do. But anyways, you know, that doesn't matter. I feel like I'm just listening to my past self and being like, are you an idiot? That's kind of how I feel, and that's a little rude to past Feedy or Noah, whatever you want to call me. But like, I've known a dirty bomb. It's not a nuke. It's just kind of I mean, I can't even explain it right now, but it's not what would cause what happened in Georgia to the silos. It's just not that, and I guess it hadn't registered. But for one, there's that, and then two, I watched the episode twice before I'm making my video, alright, and did my running, of course. But I'm watching it again. It's not everything, specifically the final scene, and they say that the dirty bomb happened in DC, not Georgia. So I think this is a flashback, and I was barking up the wrong damn tree. Like, the whole time I was like, what if Lucas learned that there's people on the outside and Georgia's an isolated incident? I mean that's part of the fun, right? You can come up with your own theories, but I think this is definitely a flashback. The Pez is definitely where this is the original Pez. Somehow this Pez ends up in Georgia. We're gonna follow these characters, I'm guessing. This is present Noah talking to past Noah, and yeah. And then now there's contemplating Salvador Quinn's decision, right? Salvador Quinn made a decision to remove all the records of their past. And Bernard saw it as a reason to stop future rebellions from leaving. And it might have been that. It really might have been that to like burn all their history so they would forget that rebellions happened and stop more rebellions, so like they wouldn't initiate the safeguard on them. Or he just like straight up was like, I don't believe in this anymore. I'm burning this. I don't want these people monitoring us to win. I don't want the 51st silo to win. I'm gonna ruin their experiment. Maybe it was something along those lines as well. Also, something I did not touch on at first that I wrote down, I wanted to, but I just completely forgot, is this one little like article here that he has set down that the camera focuses on for a second, so it's like you can read it. You gotta tilt your head a bit, but it's titled The New Normal, and it's got somebody in a suit, like with a child holding their child's hand, who's also got a child-sized suit. Like, it to me looks like the silo suits. Like, that's pretty crazy, and it looks like they're just walking on a path in a park. Yeah, there's a playground in the background, and I can't read the rest of the text underneath it, but that's definitely interesting. So, I mean, this was insane. We don't know what's going to happen with Camille and Sims. We don't know what's going to happen with Lucas. We don't know what's going to happen with Bernard and Juliet. We don't know what we're going to do, if we're going to follow these people outside of Georgia. We don't even know when that exactly is for sure. Like, they talk about when it happened, the dirty bomb. I'm guessing it's current. That's what I think. I could be wrong. I could see it both ways, but I mean, I think that's it, guys. This is a long video, and just there was a lot. I don't really know what to say, except I want to thank you all for not only watching the whole video, but just for this whole season, for supporting me, and just I don't know. I mean, just I'm very passionate about this stuff, and it just means a lot that you guys that you guys have supported these videos and are also passionate about this show. And, you know, I'm sad it's over for now, but Severance is starting today. Actually, I'm gonna watch that as well and review that soon. Probably not today. I need to get this Silo video up, and it's a long one. But Severance tomorrow, next day after, whatever. I'll continue with that, and I hope some of you will continue with me if you like that show. And then I'll do Last of Us season 2 in April. But I mean, that's about it right now. And yeah, but thank you guys, seriously. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.